Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you, and thanks for joining us today. We'll be talking about mobility and how to extend SAP to mobile devices, which includes both smartphones and tablets, as well as Windows mobile handheld devices. I'm joined by Aparna Desai, our Solution Engineering Manager, who will demonstrate some pre-built templates we've developed, as well as the actual tools you can use to customize, streamline, and extend SAP to these mobile devices. As we go along, if you have questions, please feel free to post them, and we'll be monitoring them as we go. We'll also try to incorporate these into the discussion. And at the end, we'll also address the remaining ones if we have time. I'll provide a brief overview of the GuiXT technology embedded in SAP GUI and the GuiXT extensions we've built on top of this for a 360-degree user-friendly SAP experience. I'll show some of the ways business users can access GuiXT in common areas of deployment. Then Aparna will provide a demonstration of some sample applications using our technology and the tools we use to create the user-friendly SAP experience. So to demonstrate our breadth of SAP usability and mobile solutions, here is an end-to-end scenario showing how GuiXT can expand SAP usage to virtually anyone, any SAP user in your organization. In this scenario, an employee is ordering an item and creates a purchase requisition in SAP GUI. We basically streamlined this from 7 screens down to 1. So you can see the names of the labels have been changed, additional help, text, and tips are added, defaults were set to minimize errors, and additional RTF and HTML files can be embedded in the SAP GUI screen to aid the user in filling out the information. For quick approvals, GuiXT can extend the SAP user experience to smartphones, tablets, or Windows mobile devices for anytime, anywhere access. In this example, a manager uses his smartphone to securely access SAP and approve the purchase requisition. A highly simplified and optimized interface for smaller screens provides only the required fields for the manager to quickly deny or approve the purchase requisition. The next step in the process involves the buyer, who needs to check inventory, and if the item's not in stock, a PO is generated. The buyer sees a simplified, streamlined view from either SAP GUI or through an enterprise portal. And once the item arrives in receiving, now the dock worker can use the scan gun or RFID scanner to get all the required information about the item and confirms that the goods were received. GuiXT supports any Windows mobile device, including Intermec, gimbal handheld devices on Windows Mobile.net, etc. And if there's no network connectivity, offline capabilities enable the dock worker to continue using SAP with full device resident capabilities on the scan gun. And finally, once the invoice is received, a PDF document with fields mapped to SAP can be used as a front end by accounting personnel. The next slide shows one of our customers that used our Windows Mobile handheld solution for scan guns to replace their SAP console solution. So Steelscape is a steel producer for the U.S. and Canada and Canadian construction market. They've implemented many processes on Windows mobile devices using GuiXT, including create rail shipment, create truck shipment, assign coils to delivery, and shipment status. And here are the results. Basically, Steelscape processes about 3,000 scans a day using about 200 man-hours. With the GuiXT solution, it was reduced to 17 man-hours, which is basically 12 times faster. And here's how it's broken down. Scanning coils in shipments went from 4 minutes to 20 seconds. Assigning coils to delivery went from 2 minutes to 4 seconds, basically 30 times faster. Creating truck shipments went from 12 screens that took 4.5 minutes down to 3 screens that took just 20 seconds. And creating rail shipments went from 13 screens that took 10 minutes down to a single screen that could be done in 1 minute. The GuiXT solution enhanced Steelscape's user interfaces to improve employer productivity and facilitated better shipment tracking, resulting in $1.4 million in annual savings. Here's another example of the value provided specifically with the GuiXT offline solution in areas where there's no network connectivity. This is a typical work order example for plant maintenance, which includes the following steps. First, an operator in a manufacturing plant creates a work order, writes the issues down on paper, and once he's back in the office, the data is entered into SAP to initiate the work order process. Next, a supervisor in the office receives the work order and assigns it to a repair technician. The next step in the process, the repair technician gets the assigned work order, probably in the office, then goes out on the job to perform the work to fix the issue, writes the resolution down on paper, and then provides the information back to a clerk once he's back in the office. And finally, the clerk enters the data into SAP. With the GuiXT solution, process steps can be eliminated and streamlined. In addition, having access to SAP data on a mobile device in a disconnected mode where there's no network connectivity extends your business process for anytime, anywhere access, increasing productivity. So in this case, the first step here, an operator with a Windows mobile device can fill in the appropriate information to initiate the work order process, capturing the data on the spot, right on the job, and actually saved on the device. And once he's back in a network area, connected area, he uploads the data to SAP, and the supervisor can get immediate notification directly on a smartphone that a work order needs to be assigned. The second process, the supervisor receives the assignment directly on a smartphone, which then goes to the appropriate repair technician. The repair technician can get the assigned work items, and then in an offline mode using his ruggedized laptop, he can check the inventory for parts and inputs materials used, time spent directly on the ruggedized laptop. And then once he's back in the network connected area, the data is uploaded back to SAP. And finally, there's really no additional data entry person involved, no paperwork with notes that can be lost or misread, and no travel and time delay to get the relevant information into SAP. So as you can see, GuiXT enables your field technicians to execute their tasks more efficiently. They have their needed documents digitally available on their mobile device and eliminates the need for paper documents. The simplified and streamlined transaction logic minimizes the number of screens, and the terminology fits the business and employees, which eliminates confusion about what data to enter and reduces errors. So why was GuiXT chosen as the best solution on the market? Using the technology currently available, users can connect their mobile devices to SAP ERP using either a browser or through native applications provided by mobile vendors or through other mobile platforms. The extensive development, though, and technology stack required for even the lighter weight frameworks still require what we call bloatware, which really seems like overkill when a user simply needs a more streamlined business process on a mobile device. In addition, many of our customers have requested, that they want to see results and changes done quickly. They don't want to have to invest in all this infrastructure. They also want it to build it very quickly, in days, not weeks or months. And they need rugged PCs and tablets in the field. Maybe in the head office they want to use desktops and enterprise portals, but they also want to minimize the redundant development efforts. GuiXT is really the only solution that provides one cross-platform framework for multiple touchpoints that includes not only mobile devices but also simplified desktop SAP interfaces for SAP GUI, Excel, PDF, and Enterprise Portal front ends. The GuiXT architecture has a direct connect to SAP, which eliminates programming and the need for third-party application servers and bloatware. So what are the benefits? With a single version of your simplified business process extended to various touchpoints, we dramatically shorten the time to market and reduce the cost of application development and long-term maintenance. Web developers or technical business analysts can use our tools without Java or all of our programming so that IT can focus on higher value initiatives. The GuiXT mobile solutions, they're non-intrusive. Mobile business applications must be easy to modify to accommodate changing business requirements. The tools help you create different user interfaces, for example, for different groups of users for any SAP transaction. The screens are dynamically displayed based on a user's SAP role or SAP profile. For example, a plant engineer gets a different screen than an electrician working on a different plant floor, even though they're using the same transaction. And when SAP upgrades ECC, there's minimal impact to the front end. Using the GuiXT technology, all SAP transaction logic and screens can be customized and extended without touching the back end. Since the user interface for any module can be simplified, customized, and streamlined for any department, even dynamic applications such as SD's variance and configuration, pricing condition, can be customized without recoding or duplicating that same business logic somewhere else. And again, since GuiXT has a direct connection to SAP, all GuiXT users, even those working remotely, are represented on the SAP server. Therefore, system security such as database table locks and business logic programmed into the central SAP server will be extended to the user without compromise. And finally, GuiXT can help reduce training requirements, reduce costly user errors, and eliminate help desk hours spent on training and support. From a business perspective, a simplified, streamlined business process customized for the user increases efficiencies, reduces the chances for human errors, and expands the reach of SAP to more users, even non-computer savvy users. In addition, mobile access significantly improves effectiveness of field personnel. Field staff can enter sales order, perform inventory checks, price checks, and track shipments from anywhere, anytime. Warehouse employees can avoid numerous trips to the warehouse office for paperwork, saving valuable time. And GuiXT also provides extensions for Excel and PDF documents for non-SAP users. Now, Aparna is going to drill into specific areas of GuiXT, how it works, and demonstrate how to extend SAP to multiple touchpoints. Thank you, Didi. Control to Aparna. Okay, thank you, Didi. So basically what I'm going to concentrate on today is a couple of examples on the mobile. This is the end-to-end scenario that Didi went through. We talked about the desktop, a little bit on the PDF form. But in this particular demo, I'm going to show you the purchase requisition approval done on an iPad. Okay, so today, let's say without the mobile solution, your users are sending out a requisition. The email goes to the manager, but let's say the manager is out of the office. In that case, you have to wait for an approval from them. Either they're on a business trip, or either they're on vacation, or at the airport. Now, with
the mobile solution, you can extend the purchase requisition approval process to a smartphone or a tablet. Okay, you can extend it to an iPad, iPhone, BlackBerry, and Android devices. For this particular example, we have used an iPad. Okay, and basically this is, you're launching the GuiXT Access application here. Once you launch the application, you can click on a push button, and that is going to bring up the different release codes for that particular user. You're logging into SAP using your same user ID password, but with an iPad versus from the desktop. It displays the different release codes. You can select a release code here, and it's going to give you the list of requisitions for that release code. Now, for this particular manager, there are no requisitions pending approval for this release code. But then you can select the other release code assigned to you, and it's going to give you the list of requisitions that are awaiting your approval. You can display the details of the requisition on the screen. You can approve or release multiple requisitions at the same time. Okay, so what we're doing here is on the first one, we want to approve it, so you just click it on. On the second one, after you review the details, again, you turn it on, and then when you click on release, it is going to release both the items for you with one click. You don't have to go in and out of the transaction to do the multiple release. This process uses the same SAP transaction codes in the background. We are not putting data on the device. It's a real-time connection to SAP. Okay, this is not in the offline mode. So once you release it, and you try to release the same requisition again, since it's a real-time connection, GuiXT is going to give you a message saying this has already been released, which is sent by SAP. Okay. Also, you can go in and release one requisition at a time. So you can go in and review the details of the requisition again. And again, the screen that you see here is customizable. This is based on a customer requirement that we build a screen. And building the screen is pretty straightforward, which I'm going to demo later in the session today. Okay. So you can release one requisition at the same time as well. Either from since it's a split screen, you can do it from either the left side of the screen or the right side of the screen. It executes the same code, it goes to the same transaction, and gives you the list of the requisitions with the approval code. Okay. Once you refresh the list, all the requisitions that has been approved will be removed from the list, and you will only see the one that is pending approval. So with this, this is one of the examples. Of course, you can render any transaction in SAP to the mobile device. I think we're having a technical glitch here. But you can render any transaction in SAP to the mobile device and also to the Windows mobile operating system. My next demonstration is going to show you how you can render the SAP onto a Windows mobile system. And again, going back to the same process, the procure to pay process. Okay, I think my machine is giving me trouble. Just hang on for just a minute.
Hang on a minute, folks. We're having some technical difficulties here, so let me try to recover.
Yep. Okay, so you're back up. So here I was talking about the Windows CE devices, and this particular example is for the goods receipt, part of the same business process. You request some goods delivered to the warehouse. Today, without the mobile solution, probably the user is printing out the PO going to the warehouse, receiving the goods, writing the information on the piece of paper, going back to a desktop, or handing it over to a supervisor who would then enter the information into SAP. Okay. With the GuiXT mobile solution, you can render the SAP transaction, in this case the MIGO transaction, to the mobile device. So you can enter the data real time onto the mobile device. Okay. In this particular demo, I'm going to show you on a Windows Pocket PC emulator, but the GuiXT mobile solution can work on any handheld device or scan gun which has Windows CE operating system. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is log into the SAP from the mobile device. As you can see, this looks very much like your SAP logon pad, but it's a GuiXT mobile solution. To log into SAP here, you use your SAP user ID password. I'm going to enter my SAP user ID password. Again, this is a real-time connection to SAP. You're not storing any information on the device. Go to the transaction that I've created. And here we have simplified the MIGO transaction for the mobile device. You have the same fields. It talks to the same transaction in the background. All your security, validations, authorizations that you have in place in SAP will be applied to the mobile application here. You don't have to replicate any of those logic because it executes the same transaction in the background. So here in the field, the user will scan the PO number. They don't have to carry any paper with them. You just scan the PO number and you hit enter, and GuiXT is going to bring up the first item that is on the PO on the device. You can also display this in a tabular format if you have multiple line items. In this particular PO, we only have two. But you can have line item view. So you select the quantity that you have received, check item OK, click on the next item, is again change the quantity that you're receiving, check item OK, and then you can post the document. And you click on post, again it executes the transaction in the background, passes the information to MIGO. SAP gives the success message and GuiXT displays that to the user on the mobile device. Okay. So again, a real-time connection to SAP. You can render any transactions you want to the mobile device. You're not restricted to the SAP console or the mobile-ready transactions. The next example that I have here, and going back to the business flow that GD went through for the work order. And this is for the PM application, creating work order, confirming time, and then closing the work order. There was a question from one of the audience members who said, how can you close or confirm the order when you're offline? And this particular demo is probably going to answer that question for you. Okay. Normally, without the offline solution, GD went through the whole process. There are multiple things that you have to do. It's all paper-based. With the GuiXT offline solution, you can reduce a lot of steps in the process. You save a lot of time, productivity. There is no paper trail. So we are going to use the GuiXT offline solution here to demo the PM process. And I'm going to bring up the demo here. So again, this particular demo is for one of the customers. And again, what we did for them was take their service orders offline. We created a download criteria. So initially, when the users log in, and this is on their laptop, you can have the same screens or similar screens on the mobile device as well. Okay, this is on a laptop. The user would enter the user ID password. Again, even when they're in the offline mode, that is how we would that is the information we would use to transfer the data back and forth. Let's assume the user's in the office in the morning. They log into SAP to the offline logon, and this is the first screen they're going to see. They click on the download criteria. They're ready to go out into the field. They're going to download the data onto the device, onto their laptop before they go out. So in the download criteria screen, you have two sections. You have the master data and then you have the service order data. The master data is helpful when you need the F4 help, when you're in the offline mode, when you need material information or the customer information when you are in the offline mode. So you can download the master data from the top section here. And this particular section allows you to download all the service orders that are assigned to you, and then you perform the work when you are offline on those service orders and update the data. So once you download the information, you are out in the field. At that point, you have no connection to SAP. You are working off of data that is residing on your machine. Okay. So you click on the service order screen, and you can create new orders. You can change an existing order from the same screen. So here, this particular demo, I'm going to show you how you create an order, how you perform the work, and then confirm time, and then close the order. So here, select the plan. We have order type defaulted in, just two different order types that they would use, and then the offline mode. Select the plant. You have access to the F4 help, and this is the data that we downloaded from the master data section. So again, the users are not guessing the values that go in the field. They have access to the regular F4 help. So click on Create Order, and this is going to give you a screen where you can enter all the information for the header of the service order. There are no multiple tabs to go through. This is a very simplified screen, only the fields that the users need. Again, this is the F4 selection for the sold to party. Based on the sold to party that you selected, the ship to party drop-down is going to have limited values. And so the smart logic that you have in SAP is also built in for you in the offline mode. So you won't see the list of 100 ship to parties, only the ones that are linked to that sold to. You select the ship to party. It puts in the address for you as well. And then you can enter the rest of the information for the service order. You enter the operations. Then you click on Add. And then I'm going to add the description, the planned hours. And then for the activity type, I'm going to select an activity type. You can also go in and edit it. So if you have already entered an operation, if you're changing an order, you can just select the operation and then edit the information there as well. So you can change the planned hours there and save it. Okay, now all this data that you are entering is in the offline mode. You are not connected to SAP at this point. Then you go to the components, and then you enter a new component. Then we'll use the F4 help here, select from the list of the materials. You know, if you have an RFID code, if you have a barcode with all this information, then you don't need the F4 help. You can just scan the information, and it's going to populate the right fields for you. Okay, you save the component, and you create the service order. Now this service order is created in the offline mode. It does not exist in SAP at this point. GuiXT provides a dummy order number to it. So in the future, when you are updating it, again, before it goes into SAP, you can just select that dummy order number and edit the information. Once you upload it, that dummy number will be updated by the SAP service order number. Okay, so you have created the service order. Now you are performing a work on the service order, and you want to confirm time. Okay, so you select the service order, click on Confirm Time and Goods Movement. Here you're going to enter the time it took you to complete the work. This is based on the operation. This is the final. This is the complete or the final confirmation. So you have checked the box. You select the start date and time, end date and time. You have fields where you can enter the text, the confirmation text, also the long text. Okay, so that saves the confirmation for you on the time. Now you can also issue the parts that you have used in the offline mode. Okay, so select the part, edit, and here you can say this is what I used. Use quantity 1, save the information, and it will issue the part again when you upload the information into SAP. Right now everything is offline. Because this was the final confirmation, you also want to close the service order. So you go in and select the damage code and the cost code. This is the regular catalog selection in SAP. enter the cost text, and save the information. Okay, so you have created an order, you confirm time against an existing order, you did the goods movement, you closed the order, you entered the catalog code, and you are saving the transaction. Okay, so you did all this in the offline mode. Now you are back in the office, or you find connection to your SAP server, and you click on upload. This is going to show you all the different activities that you did when you're offline. In this case, we only have two records, one that we created and one that we changed. Okay, now, when you click on upload, it is going to upload one record at a time. It is going to go and execute the AW31 transaction in the background, transfer the information for the new service order into AW31, save the order, bring back the order number that SAP provides, and displays the user here. For the confirmation that we did, all the data that you have offline, it goes to AW41, AW42, transfers the data for the time confirmation, does the goods issue in the background, and then closes the service order. It goes to the notification transaction, enters the catalog code, and closes the order. So all that happens when you upload the data into SAP. Okay? So by using the offline solution, you have everything you need when you are out in the field. You don't have to call the supervisor, you don't have to call anybody to get information on the different material, whether it's available or not, whether I can use it or not. You don't have to carry a stack of papers which says these are different service orders you need to work on. The data integrity is much better. You're not doing a lot of errors. There is no redundant data entry. Again, one of the reasons why you have clean data. So in this demo so far, we saw the GuiXT rendered onto an iPad, and again, you can render it into any smartphones or tablets. We have GuiXT Mobile for the handheld or the scan guns. You can render, again, any transaction in SAP to a Windows mobile device. And we saw GuiXT Offline, which can be rendered onto a laptop or even a handheld gun. Okay. Now, what I'm going to show you is how you can create an application or an app that goes to the device. Okay. And again, it's going to be a brief demo. So here, we're going to talk about how it works. And I'm sure a lot of people on the webinar knows GUIXT a little bit. This is the basic architecture. GuiXT comes bundled with SAP GUI. So you can just go in, activate GuiXT at this time, and use the limited functionality that comes with it. When a user goes into SAP GUI and goes to transaction code, the request for the screen goes to the backend server. The backend server would run the ABAP code as it normally does, sends the package to SAP GUI, and then SAP GUI draws the screen. Now, if you have a GuiXT screen, if you have a GuiXT script on that particular transaction, when the user requests the screen, the SAP application server runs the ABAP code as it normally does. It does not know GuiXT exists, does not know the script exists. It would run the ABAP code as it normally does, applies the business logic, everything that you have for that screen, packages the information, sends it to SAP GUI. Now, before SAP GUI draws the screen, GuiXT would intercept the package, apply the changes that you have in the script for that screen, repackages information, sends it to SAP GUI, and then SAP GUI draws the new GuiXT screen. Okay, so there is no change in the backend application server. You're not installing any software. It comes bundled with SAP GUI. You're not changing any security. You're not changing the validations of the business logic. There's absolutely no ABAP required to have a simplified GuiXT screen for your users. Our developer kit includes two components. One is the designer, the other is the workbench. Today we are going to concentrate on the workbench piece of it. Basically, the workbench offers 3 steps to create your interface. You record the process, you choose the front end, which is the environment where you want to render the simplified screen, and then you automap or create the script. It's a simple process, and you can render the Workbench created screens to either a desktop or to a mobile device, or take it offline. You also have the ability to create application for an Excel, which you can use to upload data into SAP or download data from SAP into an Excel, and also create a PDF form. Okay, so it's one developer kit that you can use to create applications or solutions for multiple interfaces. I'm going to log into SAP here and then show you how our Workbench tool works. Okay, so here, and I've logged into our demo system here, and I'm going to bring up the Workbench. This is what it looks like when it comes up. I'm going to use transaction IW21 for this demo. You can use Workbench on any SAP transaction. So go to IW21, bring up my Workbench, and then start the recording. Go back to my transaction, and then I'm going to go through the transaction as if I'm the user. Okay, so I'm going to actually create a notification. Notification type, enter the description, the functional location, the planner group, and again, you want to enter values in all the fields that the users need. Okay, even though there are default values, if you want the users to change it, just put a value in that field so that it is captured by the Workbench. Based on what you record, based on what fields you enter values in, your interface is going to be created accordingly. Okay, so here I'm going to enter a value in malfunction, end date, and time. I don't need those two fields. So I just want to show you what it looks like in the recording and how you can modify it. Okay, so this is what the Workbench recording looks like. You have screens with all the fields. The field where you have entered values in are all checked. So on the malfunction or the breakdown data, I entered a value in the malfunction end date and time. So you see those are checked here, but I don't want those. So in the recording, you can go in and uncheck it. So the only fields that are checked will be presented to you on the interface. Okay, so I'm going to stop the recording here, and this creates my GVL file. It's my recording file. I'm going to save my file. Okay. Right. And then I'm going to create an access template. So based on the solution, based on the interface where you need the solution, you will click different buttons. Either you can click on the template, which is going to create a screen for you on the desktop environment, or you can click on Excel. It's going to create an Excel spreadsheet for you. Here we are going to use an access template, which is our mobile template. And it's going to create the screen which can be rendered to a smartphone or Windows mobile device. Okay. When you click on this, it's going to create the script for me in the background. I'm going to bring that script up, and it is right there. This is what the Workbench created. Now what you have to do is change the name of the script to map it to the screen where you want to display the interface. So let's say I want to display the interface on the first screen of IW21. So all I need to do is put in the program name and the screen number for that screen as the label of my script. And then go into my SAP, refresh my screen, and there it is. So I have my interface created. It's the same transaction. If you look at the bottom of the screen, it still says IW21. You are not creating a Z transaction. You're not creating any Z field. This is just a front end on top of your existing SAP transaction. So the script that Workbench creates, what it does, it deletes all the controls that you have on that particular screen and then paints the GuiXT controls on top of it. So here I have the defaults already in there. This is the recording. It creates the push buttons that you see on the toolbar, a submit and a reset. I can go in and then click on submit. And this is going to run the script which will pass the information from my GuiXT interface into SAP and then create the notification for me. They have a success message at the bottom of the screen without the user having to go through those multiple screens. Okay, you can record as many screens as you want in a business process. You can go through 15 screens, 2 screens as we just did. You can also combine multiple transactions onto one screen. And it's the same recording process, record and then save map. Now this screen is created for a mobile device. I just wanted to show you that you can use the same script for the desktop as well. I'm going to reset the information here. So just delete all the value in the field. Back to my mobile emulator. I'm going to log in again. Use the same user ID password that you use for SAP. And then I'm going to go to the same transaction, IW21. And here I have the same screen. Okay, so it's the same field that you see on the desktop. It's the same script that the Workbench created. I'm going to enter the data to show you how it works. Okay. Oh, so reported by wrong entry here. Just go back and change that. The reported by is my name. And then you enter the work center, malfunction start date and time. And I click on submit. Now again, when you click on submit, it runs the same script. It goes to IW21. It is going to pass the data from your screen and then into SAP and then bring back the success message that SAP gives to the mobile device. Okay, same process. You can render the same script to the smartphone. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the BlackBerry emulator. Unfortunately, I cannot run the iOS emulator here. But again, it works on all your smartphones and tablets. Okay, so I click on notification. And there you go, you have the same screen, same field as you have on the desktop and your Windows C device. You have it on the BlackBerry here. I'm going to enter the data again. Then the description is test. Main work center, malfunction start date. 02, time. And then for the BlackBerry, you have to click on the context menu. That is where your submit and reset buttons are going to appear. For an iOS, you will see a push button on the toolbar. And that is a notification that you created on your BlackBerry. Again, all this is in the online mode. It's real time. I'm just going to write down the notification number. And I'm going to show you what it looks like in SAP. It actually creates a notification. You can go in and reset it. It removes all the information from the field, and you're ready for the next notification. And back to the root screen. And then here, I'm going to go to the IW23 transaction. Let's go to IW23. And I'm going to enter the notification that we just created. It's 23653. Enter, and there it is. Okay, so this is live in SAP. You have the same information that we just passed. Test is the description, K1 functional location. And then on the malfunction breakdown data, we have the malfunction start date and time. And that's your notification. Okay, so it's one script that can be used on the desktop, can be used on the mobile device, can be used on the smartphones and tablets. And similarly, you can create the solution for your Excel spreadsheet where you can upload data from an Excel into SAP. Same thing for a PDF, where you can upload the information from a PDF form into SAP and offline. Right, so I'm going to transfer the controls back to Didi, and we'll be answering the questions at the end of the session here. Depending on the time, we might be able to get to all of them. If not, we'll get back to you through the email.
Okay, thanks, Aparna. So as you can see, the GuiXT cross-platform framework and development environment provide powerful features to help you build applications that work across multiple touchpoints. As Aparna explained, the GuiXT technology is shipped as part of SAP GUI, and once you activate it, you have a taste test of the technology. And then through our developer tools, you can basically record, make screen layout changes, change the labels, basically customize and simplify the screens to your business needs. And then extend that user experience to mobile or non-mobile, web, desktop, etc. platforms through our extensions that we offer through additional licensing. With the simplified transaction logic and streamlined business processes tailored to the narrower requirements of specific jobs, expanding the participant community using SAP can be realized, providing a 360-degree user-friendly SAP experience. So who are we? Our founders came from SAP more than a decade ago. Dr. Gerhard Rode was the 50th employee of SAP. He wrote the ABAP language and is also known as the father of ABAP. Thomas Du, we've worked at SAP Labs in Palo Alto, and he is the one who initiated Java GUI. GuiXT was selected as complementary software to SAP in 1998, and we've been bundled ever since. It's also certified by SAP for NetWeaver portals, and it's embedded in NetWeaver Business Client. And we have over 900 customers worldwide. And you'll often see SAP SEs use our product in pre-sale situations to show simplified SAP screens. Here's a sample of some of our customers, and as you can see, we span across multiple industries and functional areas. We have quite a few customers in manufacturing, utilities, consumer goods, wholesale, life sciences, chemicals, and with our offline solution, quite a few mobile and gas or oil and gas customers that span across different functional areas. For example, finance, HR, inventory management, purchasing, etc. So you've heard a lot today. What specifically makes GuiXT the right choice? Our comprehensive solution delivers secure, real-time SAP information to multiple touchpoints to extend your business process anytime, anywhere. We're able to support your usability and mobile efforts through our extensions to SAP for a complete 360-degree user-friendly experience. We've done this for 14 years and you can use our expertise and knowledge in designing user-friendly enterprise solutions for you. We have some new optimization packages that include software, best practices, and services that's been scaled down to packages with short implementation time. So if you want to get started with a trusted partner, we can provide services, consulting, and education to accelerate your success. Here's a final slide on upcoming events. Please stop by some of these if you're in the area. We have the ASUG Georgia chapter meeting coming up. Aparna and I will be at the Mobility Show, SAP Mobility Show, end of this month. There's the SAP-centric EAM show in Texas coming up in March, and the ASUG Philadelphia chapter happening in March as well as the financial show. This is the first of a few webinar series that we'll be hosting. The next one will be March 21st, where we'll go in depth into the GuiXT mobile solution for smartphones and tablets. And please register. It'll be available soon. And then mid-March, we're also planning to go to the SCM, PLM, and CRM show. Okay, so let's see. We have a couple minutes left here. Do we have some questions that we want to go through?
Yes, we do have quite a few questions. We will try to get through some of them right now, but the rest we will be sending out the answers to via an email. We go to the top to bottom. The first question is, do you have a recommended approach for managing multiple GUI screens associated with a single SAP transaction? I'm hoping the demo I did answered that question, but yes, you can combine those multiple screens on a single transaction on one screen. When only the fields that the users need, you can record the process as I showed, and that will give you an interface which is very simplified, and the users can enter data on that one screen and complete the business process. Not too many comments on the screen, which was blank in between. I apologize for that. We had a technical glitch. Let me go to the next question. Right. Can you repeat the iPad demonstration? I'm particularly interested in it. We can definitely set up a one-on-one for you on that. Please send your request to rfi@guixt.com, and we'll set up a demo for you on the iPad particularly, and we can go into all the details that you need there. The next question is, what if you needed to record batch, lot, and expiration date, etc.? The answer is to just go to the screen that has those fields, put in a value in that field, and then you can, of course, delete it again. But that way, the Workbench will capture those fields for you and then create it on an interface. What errors are reported back during the upload, that is bad storage location, not enough stock at hand? All your validations that you have set up in SAP will take effect when the data is being uploaded. So if you have a wrong storage location, it's going to come back. If you don't have enough availability on the stock, it's going to come back and complain. All GuiXT does is captures that error message and displays it to the user, and they can correct the error and then re-upload the information. So all the validations that you have in place in SAP for that particular transaction takes effect during the upload. Is the iPad a custom template or an access template? It is an access template. The script that Workbench creates, which I demoed on the BlackBerry, is used for iPhone as well, and the same script works for an iPad or an Android tablet. Can you change the screen that gets created so the input fields are not so far away from the text? Absolutely. You can go in and bring up the script. It creates a JavaScript for you. You can go in and change the location of the fields. You can go in and change the labels of the fields. You can change the size of the fields. You have all the flexibility and to make those changes on that interface. And the Workbench gives you a starting point for that process. If you want to use the solution as is, you can for most of the transactions. Else you go into the JavaScript and then make the changes based on the requirements. Maybe I missed the part as to how you did the rendering. I'm not sure what you mean by the rendering. Probably what you mean is, and this is what I understand, is rendering the screens to a mobile device. And if that's the case, there is a configuration file where you set the path of the directory pointing to a location where you save the script that Workbench creates. The BlackBerry or the Windows mobile device is going to pick up that script and render the simplified screen onto that device. What additional hardware and software is needed for rendering? There is a right-to-use license on the different environments. As far as the developer kit goes, it's one license. You can create solutions for all the different environments using that particular software. There are no hardware requirements. GuiXT comes bundled with SAP GUI. There is a pass-through server component that is required, which can reside on any existing Windows-based machine or a server, which the users connect to. As I said, it's like a pass-through server, but that is where the executable resides for your mobile solution. If you are working on a desktop, there is absolutely no hardware requirements. On an iOS device, what is running in substitution of SAP GUI? You are running a GuiXT Access app, which is available on the Apple App Store. You can download it. It's free, and you can play with it right now. But that is the app that is used to connect to SAP, and you can render any SAP transactions to that particular device. How are you, question, how do you compare with SUP? That's a great question. SUP provides you a platform where you can create your own apps. And so you can do it using the programming language and render to the mobile devices. With GuiXT, we provide a single app, a GuiXT app, that allows you to connect to all the transactions in SAP. You're not creating you're not creating one app at a time and pushing it out to the devices. You only download the client, the GuiXT Access client, once, and then all the solutions that you create for your mobile devices will be available on the device or on that particular phone or the tablet. The device management is very easy using GuiXT. You don't have to push out the different apps, as I mentioned before, to the devices. It's just one download. All the apps that you create using GuiXT uses the existing SAP transactions, existing security and validations. So again, you're not duplicating the effort of maintaining the security or the authorizations for your mobile apps, which you would need to do with SUP. There's absolutely no programming. As you saw, you would create the solution using the Workbench and then modify it using the JavaScript. No ABAP or Java required, which you would need for the SAP environment. Could you please discuss the licensing for GuiXT? There is a right-to-use license, as mentioned before, and there's a developer kit license. We can with the details depending on what your needs are. We can get in touch with you after the webinar and answer those specific questions. I think we are running beyond the time. There are a lot of other questions. We promise to get back to you after the webinar through an email and answer all those questions for you. We are a little bit over 11 o'clock already, but we will get back to you with all the answers. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Aparna. For additional information, please go to www.guixt.com. And for any additional questions, feel free to send us an email at rfi@guixt.com. Also, don't forget to fill out the survey at the end of the GoToWebinar, because this information helps us guide future webinars. And I think that wraps it up for today. Thank you very much for joining Aparna and I today. Hope you are able to join our next webinar in the series on GuiXT mobile solutions for smartphones and tablets. Thank you. Bye-bye.